India's elections have seen technology landmarks over the decades. In 2004, it was Prime Minister Vajpayee's pre-recorded messages to mobile phone users. In 2014, it was Prime Minister Modi's holograms. But in 2024, there's a double-edged disruption out there. Generative Artificial Intelligence, which is used to make deepfakes. We've seen AI-generated versions of Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah's speeches. This is a worrisome development as we head into the final phases of Indian elections 2024. And to talk about this worrying development, I'm joined by Senthil Nayagam, founder of Muonium AI, Subimal Bhattacharjee, and my colleagues Justin Thomas in the studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the News9 Plus Show. I want to start by asking Senthil this. Senthil, we spoke about the Gen AI impact on elections before the elections began. You said a lot of people would start using it. Is this more or less in line with what your predictions were? The fact that we've seen Gen AI deepfakes of Prime Minister Modi's speech, Home Minister Amit Shah's speeches being distorted. People have been arrested for this. Is this only the tip of the iceberg that we're looking at, or is this here to stay? Are Gen AI deepfakes going to be the norm moving ahead?
Okay, so we are across the midway level in the elections part. We have only a few more things, and June 4th we'll have the results available.
Right.
So first part, it's a new capability, and people are going to use this again and again. If it is effective, the third part is the technology is one aspect, and but still people need to understand the psychology. Also, need some creativity.
Right.
Raw technology won't be very interesting for people.
Yes.
We did our first video with for the Karnataka part, right?
Yes.
It was okay. Will there be an emotional connect between a potential fan,
right,
and the leader? Okay.
Right.
Everybody knew the leader was dead.
Right.
But can it trigger a nostalgia?
Right.
You feel good things about a person. When somebody dies, we don't remember anything bad things about them. Only the good things is what we want to remember. So bringing voice, face, and content which kind of targets you, doesn't attract you. So I think a lot of people have tried it. I think even Tamil Nadu, I think Congress, some candidates have done it. ADMK has done it.
Right.
Automated calls were there. Some video messages were also being sent. Okay, that's how the current systems work. And this is a new era which starts from here. And this will also have an impact on how US elections are fought. So can somebody bring a Reagan back, or a Carter back, or a Kennedy, right? So those kind of things will happen later this year. So we'll see a lot more. But all experiments are happening in India, and we are failures as up to date.
Right, we're absolutely the world's largest democracy going to the elections, and of course deepfakes are part of that. Justin, you've done something very interesting about this, a good story. I'm going to come to you in a minute. But first, Subimal Bhattacharjee, how does the voter look at a deepfake and decide what's the real message and what's the deepfake? How can you tell?
He just cannot tell, and possibly, he just gets carried away by whatever is the content. So I think that is the biggest challenge when it comes to being able to contain the whole issue. Because even if you see, you just referred to the Home Minister Amit Shah's video. Now the content that has been distorted is quite serious in an Indian context, that you're going to take away the reservations. So a good section of people would start believing, thinking that you have seen a strict Home Minister taking many corrective steps on many fronts. So this could logically follow. So the narratives generally try to spin out thus. Hence, for a common man, it gets very difficult to decipher, and so the impact is that much.
Right, it's difficult for the common man to decipher. But Justin, you did something very interesting. Tell us about it for your story on AI and deepfakes in the Indian elections.
Yes, as Senthil said, we are trying to, it can be used as a negative aspect, and also use it as a positive for campaigns to be run on based on AI. So what we did was basically get 4 former prime ministers.
Right.
We had our characters from our office itself, our colleagues, acting out those parts, and then we used artificial intelligence to mask their face, their voices, so that they sound like, let's say, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi,
Absolutely.
Narasimha Rao, Vajpayee. So that gives an idea about how this technology can be used in a way that is ethical. It is
Yes.
helps you in campaigning, and because you have to at the end of the day embrace the technology that is
Right,
available.
and it primarily also serves to warn voters.
Exactly.
In a sense that, listen, I'm Vajpayee here. I've been dead for a couple of years, but beware of deepfakes. In fact, let's take a look at Prime Minister Vajpayee brought back to life by Senthil and Muonium. Let's take a look.
I witnessed the first general elections, and now India is witnessing its first AI election. Emerging technologies have ruled for the past 3 decades. It was telephone calls in the 1990s, mobile messaging in the 2000s, hologram and social media in the 2010s, and now AI. Yes, Rajiv, we have to embrace generative AI. There's panic across the world, but you cannot stop the spread of technology. Cars replaced horses. Drones are taking over from handheld cameras. And now, our robot can do just about anything. Either we change or we will be replaced. Remember Google's Gemini AI goof up? AI claimed that Prime Minister Modi's policies are fascist. Later, the tech giant had to apologize. And then they admitted there were issues with the platform.
I wonder what Prime Minister Vajpayee would have said to that astonishingly real deepfake. Senthil, tell us how long it took you and your team to put that together for us. I mean, it's like watching the real Vajpayee, literally, the face and the gestures and the speech. How difficult was it to come up with this?
Okay, I was on a vacation, so I was not available in my office. Okay,
Right.
And else normally I would have got artists myself and did the whole part myself. But I felt maybe it will be easier if I can coordinate with the Mumbai office. Of your team.
Right.
So I worked with Jason and his team, and
Yes.
we had some retakes were there, some corrections were there.
Right.
But it's doing it remotely. First time we're doing it. Always we had 100% control over a whole system.
Okay.
From lighting to face to everything.
Right.
But this time it was new for us. But it has come out reasonably well. I'm happy with the outcome, and hope again the idea is here not to create 100% accurate, authentic. That's not the intention.
Right.
Create this is possible. Okay,
Right.
and that's what opens up. And hope it's a new trend for people and say, hey, what kind of stories we're telling, right?
Right. Absolutely. So, Senthil, this point that you mentioned earlier that, the Indian elections is just going to be the test case for AI. And you could see this in the US elections. And in fact, we saw this first in the Argentine elections. Justin and me were talking about it late last year, where the first election that used AI, used deepfakes, both candidates used it to attack each other. And we said instantly that that's how Indian elections are going to play out. What can we expect from the US elections, given how keenly fought it's going to be? It's Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and it's going to be a fight to the finish. What are the potential? Give us 5, cases, potential use cases of AI in the US elections.
It's a different democracy. Okay.
Right.
First, there are only 2 parties. There are not N parties. So coalition kind of thing is not the item one.
Right.
Second part, this time there are a lot of illegal immigrants which have been let and into
Yes.
specific targeted particular states. Okay. This will change the demography of how the voting happens.
Right.
If some set of people don't vote and some new set of people, another thing, they don't have voter ID.
Right.
And they don't want to enforce it in any way. So that also creates a whole set of lot of states have computerized voting, but the computer are known to be hacked or hackable. Everything. There are other challenges.
Right.
They have paper-based voting. Okay.
Right.
So there are a lot of systems. Again, the president election works differently. So ultimately, it's so each party has a final candidate will come into play, and each state votes, and they have some points, and eventually the points are put together, and that's what the supermajority will come in. And ultimately, it seems like 3 or 4 small states decide who's the president of the country. That's how that operates. California always will vote for Democrats, and probably Miami. And
Yes,
Texas
of
will
course,
go for
Senthil. No,
Republican.
but how are AI deepfakes going to be used in that election? Do you think, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, will weaponize this? Judging by what's been going on around the world, the trends.
There are 2 parts. Okay, maybe parties will not play. Okay, so they actually, both the candidates will raise a lot of money. It's not directly the party which is fighting elections. It's the 2 individual candidates who are represented by, and
Right.
they have a lot of super PACs where
Yes.
they have a lot of money,
Right.
And a lot of these super PACs also give advertisements on channels,
Right.
television channels and everything. So still TV is relevant in America.
Yes.
Okay, and the smartphone usage is different there. India is far ahead in a lot of these aspects. Okay, so already like when we were doing voice tuning in India,
Yes.
those kind of models were available a lot earlier. All
Right.
the AI models to generate Trump and Biden were available for now years now. Okay,
Right.
the idea is what kind of messaging, who is going to control the messaging part.
Right.
Creation is easy, messaging is what need to be determined.
Right.
And both parties are not going to leave it easy. Both candidates are going to fight tooth and nail, and that's very important. But like US doesn't have WhatsApp,
Right.
so there is a divide between
Yes.
who are use iPhone, they will use FaceTime, and they have
Right.
a particular messaging system. They still have landlines, and cold calling will happen on that part. Automatic calls,
Yes.
robocalls will happen. That's what voice is a common thing for that. So they don't have standardized messenger. Okay, so SMS will not work. So there are other systems which we have to try how that operates. Okay, but they will
Yes.
use a lot of toys.
Okay.
In US, we will not have huge hoardings. They will have a 3 feet by 4 feet. That's a small spice they put on each homes whom they are voting for. The
Right.
system works very differently
Right.
compared to what India does. Okay,
Absolutely.
and it's not very noisy.
Right.
Except for television, it's all not in that order. So it'll be very interesting how they
Yeah,
use
it'll
it.
be interesting
But we are
indeed. And
showing all
Senthil,
of-
thanks very much. You're completely out of time here, but thanks for giving us that roundup on what the US elections, what we can expect from the US elections with AI. You saw the use case for it for the first time here in India, the Indian elections, where candidates were saying things that they'd never said before, thanks to generative AI. That's the first time that they've been used on such a scale. And it just stands to reason that the US elections could do this as well. But thank you very much, Subimal, Bhattacharjee, Senthil, and my colleague Justin for this throwing light on this very burning topic of AI in elections, how the Indian elections have been disrupted by generative AI.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.